Hello there, and welcome to this Preventing Threats to Networks video as part of OCR J276 GCSE Computer Science. And in today's video, we are looking at how to prevent threats to networks. I highly suggest that you've already watched the Threats to Networks video before you're watching this, so we can have an understanding of what different threats are and now how can we counter them. So let's get going. So we're looking at preventing vulnerabilities by using different areas, as you can see here. There is the all challenge and expert we're going for today, so we can look at the pitch of where we're going and we can see what difficulty level you want to go for. So, threats need to be prevented to make sure bad things don't happen. It's as simple as that. If we are thinking about online banking, threats need to be prevented to make sure that people's money doesn't go missing, that companies' money doesn't go missing, companies don't go bankrupt, blackmail happens. So, threats need preventing to make sure that the bad guys don't win, essentially. So, penetration testing is used to make sure that if there's any vulnerabilities, they can be found out, they can be patched, they can be tested. And what penetration testing, penetration testing takes place, is it's trying to find gaps, trying to find holes, trying to find flaws inside a computer network, be it wired, wireless, website. So penetration testing is all about trying to get in to a network, trying to get information from a network and see what's going to go on. So penetration testing is a way of testing to see what's going on inside of a network and try to prevent it then they can write a report and then report on where the vulnerabilities are. Network forensics and policies, and again, some of these this image will be familiar to you from the previous video. I apologize once again for the spelling mistake. But if there's been an attack taking place, if there's data gone wrong or data gone missing, so for example in the news recently, as of late, there is a school who has had its computers infected with ransomware. A load of students have got all their coursework encrypted by someone who's infected their computer with ransomware. This attack wouldn't have taken place if there were decent network policies in place. So if there's an acceptable usage agreement for staff and students not to bring in anything from the outside world, not to download or try to install anything or trust anything from an unknown party, if that had taken place, this situation would have happened, students' coursework wouldn't be in jeopardy. Similarly, if they had a good backup policy in place, there wouldn't be, hopefully, touch wood, so much of an issue because they'd be able to go to a backup, again hoping that that backup policy has been put aside. Sorry for that beeping, that's my bread maker just finishing things off. But what we're needing to do now is making sure that policies, when they're in place, are as clear and as followed as much as possible. Yes, it's not fun that people's can't download things or go to different places to get information, but if this is a school network, if there's information on there which is important, then it needs to be kept as secure as possible, and that's where network policies come into place. If a network attack has just taken place, that's when network forensics can take place. They can look to see the point of entry, what they've done, how they've worked, how they've taken pieces of information or changed pieces of information or deleted pieces of information, so they can then prevent things from happening in the future. And also we've got anti-malware software. So this can alert the user to there being viruses or threats onto their computer. It doesn't automatically get rid of a virus. That's one key thing you need to be aware of. It scans for a virus, it finds a virus, it alerts the user, there is this virus, I want to be able to remove it. Is that okay with you? But it needs the user to be able to say removal, because anti-malware software isn't intelligent. It knows what it's looking for, but the user needs to be able to confirm to make sure that it's not picked something which it's flagged as a virus, but isn't actually a virus. So, activity 1, there's some questions looking at the areas we've looked at. Give the video a pause, give them an answer, and move on. So, firewalls are handy at stopping data from entering a network in the first place. So we can see here we have got this lovely wall of fire, and it is preventing packets from coming in, going out, to make sure they can remain as secure as possible. When data is coming into a network, it scans the packets, looks at what is in the contents of the packets, and if it is safe, it's reliable, if it's fine, it lets it into the network. If not, it prevents it coming in the first place. So a firewall is a bouncer for a network to stop the bad data coming in. We can also grant user access levels. So for example, the school I work at, I have got a Google admin account because I need to be able to add users, edit users, change users' information, because it's quicker for me to do that rather than getting a message sent to the IT admins to them to be able to do that. But then similarly on SIMs, which is used to score registers, all I can do is take registers and enter up data, information and reports. I've not got any access to any finance things. I can't arrange cover on my Sims login. I can't see people's contracts on my Sims login because I don't need to see that information. So you can grant user access levels on the information, on the access that an individual person needs and requires. We've also got passwords as well. Passwords need to be safe, need to be strong. I've got that image there, which is the 50 most common passwords for last year. I don't know why Liverpool's on that list. Anyone who uses Liverpool needs to get a new football team to support. But you can see there, we've got QWERTY, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got I love you. We've got password 1, sunshine, monkey, computer, princess. These are really obvious to guess passwords. So passwords need to be as secure as possible. So a mixture of characters, uppercase, lowercase, letters and numbers are good. Don't use dictionary words, at least one numeric character. Don't use personal information. Don't use your username, because I've seen that happen before as well. And make sure that it is personal to you. So obviously, if you make a really complicated password, you need to be able to remember it. Encryption is also really handy. So if I'm sending a confidential email to someone with information in there, I want to make sure that it is all encrypted. So this means I have my information. I use a key which encrypts it. So if you think about the Caesar cipher used back in the days of Julius Caesar, he used the Caesar cipher to be able to communicate with his generals across a vast Roman Empire. So then by using the Caesar cipher, he was able to encrypt the information so only his generals can see it. It's exactly the same way. We use a public key, which I have created. So for example, it will have in that key something like A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to D. So it encrypts it. So if someone else looks at it, it's a whole load of gobbledygook. The person who I'm sending it to, the recipient, has a copy of that key because I've given them a private key. That is their key for them to be able to use. They can decrypt it and see the information. So if I'm trying to log on to my online banking, keys are used to be able to encrypt my username and password information, because obviously I don't want any data interception going on, to try and take that information away for people to be able to break into my bank accounts. So, last activity for today's lesson, I want you to show your knowledge of preventing network threats. That's what you need to do. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I shall see you later on. Bye-bye.